I'm Hannah. I'm 20. I live in a small country town. I didn't know that I was in foster care or why I was in foster care when I was little. I came to my forever family when I was 10, turning 11. I didn't know that I would stay there forever. I was hoping I would, but I didn't trust that I would be there forever. I have been in 5 foster homes before I came to Mum and Dad. I have been removed from different families. I didn't know why I was taken. No one told me why. They just said I was too young to understand why I was taken away, even though I asked. For a while, my file was very important to me. All I kept saying to Mum and Dad, I think for 5 years, was I want my file. And when I turn 18, I'm going to get my file and read it.
I remember when my husband and I met Hannah for the first time, and she came for a play date with a caseworker so we could meet each other. We didn't know what to expect, apart from we really understood the importance of providing a safe, caring and loving home for a child in need. One of the biggest challenges that we faced in the early days caring for Hannah was that she had complex needs and we didn't understand her trauma background.
I used to make up stories because I didn't understand what had happened, and I was just trying to fill in what I thought had happened. In school, I got bullied a lot because I was known as a foster kid, and I couldn't tell them what had happened because I didn't know. I constantly asked my caseworkers questions, and they said they would come back to me with an answer, and they never did. I'd always get pushed aside, told to wait till I turned 18 to get my file, and then I would understand.
We were really supportive of Hannah having access to her file, but at the same time we're also concerned about what was in that file and the impact that could potentially have on Hannah's well-being.
I didn't know why I was in foster care until I spoke with Shannon, and we heard my story in my file.
We're going to start with 2020 down to 2023, so you're going to timeline. I started caring with carers in 2016 to make a positive difference to children and young people in out-of-home care. Prior to that, I was a caseworker within an out-of-home care agency, and I wanted to stop being so reactive in the work that I did and look at taking a proactive approach. So, what was the scared part? Can you draw up here? I first met Hannah, Sam and Nigel in 2017. I was asked by a foster care agency to go out and look whether Sam and Nigel were appropriate for guardianship care. I walked up their long driveway and was met by many of their dogs and a very fragile Hannah and a very stressed out Sam. From meeting them, you could see the love and the connection that they had. Sam actually, in the first time that I met her, broke down on the couch and was in a lot of tears, trying to support Hannah in creating a family for her. And Hannah was battling demons in her mind that she had to continue to love her birth mother and couldn't let Sam in. Hannah had been in that placement for 5.5 years. She couldn't tell me why she was in foster care. I believe that Hannah needed to know her story and some work needed to be done with Hannah and Sam. Following that, I went back to the NGO and recommended that Hannah look at having Therapeutic Life Story Work. Therapeutic Life Story Work is a model that has been created by Professor Richard Rose in the UK, And in 2017, I looked into how I could have conversations with children and young people in an honest way. Because as a caseworker, I felt we didn't hold the information to be able to answer questions. So when I was doing home visits and they were asking questions, why don't I live with mum? We wouldn't have the correct information. When we're looking at foster carers taking on children or young people, they may be taking them on from birth, 11, 12, or whatever the age is. They're getting a child to their home with very little information when they have significant amount of trauma. So for a carer to have this information, it's filling in the gaps of their puzzle that they haven't known. They are able to answer questions, express with their family what the story is, and look at their trauma and understand the links between why this behaviour or this situation might be happening to link it back to their past.
We were both really excited that Hannah would finally be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together because she was so confused about her life. I can't imagine how that would feel, not having any sense of identity.
So as I start to meet with the children and young people and deliver their story, I ask them what they know. And what they know is a very jumbled version of their actual story. It takes around 6 weeks of pulling out all the information from every court document, applying to the agencies for information from court, police and health, interviewing birth parents, interviewing grandparents, other siblings, other foster carers, schools that they may have attended. I put together a timeline from beginning to end, starting with Hannah's birth mum. Some significant things that Hannah didn't know is that her mum was actually brought into care at a particular time in her life, and that for Hannah automatically formed like a linkage of it's okay to be here. My mum has also been here and I'm now safe.
I asked Shannon about my birth mum and my birth dad, about them and what had happened, because I didn't know about things about my mum, my birth mum, that I didn't understand that she had other things going on as well. I worked out that it's okay for me to love them both the same, and I got to understand my birth mum a bit more.
What was the heart saying?
Happy.
Happy? What else was the heart saying? Think of your feelings and link it back to your feelings?
Shannon and we got a wallpaper and we wrote down our feelings on the wallpaper, and we did some bears that I think feel do bears, and you had to explain what you thought about the person, how you feel and what you want to do, and that helped me navigate my feelings around my birth family and my foster family. And then we answered questions that I had. I identify as Aboriginal. I grew up in a small Aboriginal community and I knew I had a connection with them, but I could never put it on paper. That wasn't on my file. I wasn't able to fill out a form that stated I was Aboriginal, so they couldn't sign a paper to say I was. And throughout Life Therapeutic Story, it helped me get closure on my documents around it. When I learned more about me, it helped improve my relationship with mum and dad because I didn't put my birth mum on a pedestal over my foster mum, and we could form a relationship. But with my foster dad and my birth dad, I didn't have a trouble relationship with them because I never had a relationship with my birth father. So I always saw my foster dad as number one, whereas my birth mum and my foster mum, I could never work out how to handle both of them.
No. Although we got that.
But he did pretty good though.
He did. The yellow bucket.
Yep.
Loved it. Our relationship really grew through Therapeutic Life Story Work, firstly because I had a much better understanding of Hannah, potentially how she was feeling, why she was feeling that way, and she also had a better understanding about how I felt as a foster parent as well.
Oh, it's cold.
It is, isn't it? The whole process was extremely healing for Hannah, so she could understand the past, deal with the past, express her emotions, which Hannah rarely expressed emotions or even understood her own emotions.
So by giving Sam and Nigel the information, Sam was able to have the confidence in answering Hannah's questions. And for Hannah, she knew her story, so she was confident. She didn't have to lie. She didn't have to hide. She didn't have to be embarrassed. She knows why she is where she is. She was able to walk down the street in her community and feel proud of who she is. When I met Hannah in 2017, she was a broken young girl. She didn't know where to put her heart. And now I see Hannah. She is an independent young person who is thriving. She still has her bumps in the road, but she's able to speak up and seek help during that time. She has a love and commitment for Sam and Nigel that is endless, and she sees them as her forever home. And she has a separate love for her birth family that will always be there, but she's not battling anymore. She is able to live independently, drive, speak confidently, embrace who she is, and I think she's like the most wonderful young person. Many children and young people do not have access to their files until they're 18, so they are going through the system not knowing their identity, their culture, their birth family, placements they've been in, the truth as to why placements ended. We seem to be, as an industry, afraid of having difficult conversations. And therapeutic life story work isn't about having the difficult conversations. It's embracing the conversations and letting that child and young person know what they should know. Letting them feel trusted by us and by the system. Because if we actually give access and answer questions when the children and young people want them, I think we would end up with a greater result in foster care because everybody would be working to a common goal.
I'm so proud of the young lady that Hannah is today and how far she's come from when we first met her 10 years ago, the shy young girl that was looking for a loving home, to the young lady who is resilient, is able to make her own decisions, and is really excited about her future.
I have moved out of home to Wollongong and lived with family friends and learnt how to be independent. It was fun but tough at the same time because I had to navigate new friends and a new work environment and learning things on my own. But I have now moved back home but still have my own place at home. I am most proud of achieving my licence and having a job and signing into TAFE. And changing my name to being a Rachel. My mum and dad have been a massive part of the person who I've become today. They have supported me through a lot of things, very tough things. Therapeutic Life Story Work is great for young kids because they will understand their story and their emotions, and it will help them grow as a person and bring their families a lot closer. And they will form connections with their birth family and their foster family. More kids need to know that it's an option and that it's out there, rather than finding out later on down the track. My dreams and hopes for the future are to be a caseworker and to help improve the system so that other kids don't have to go through with what I did.